emphasized. Atiku Abubakar, the unifier, the man with unequaled experience, understands that our strength and power lies in being one people, one country, so that we can achieve one future. As one, we can get it done.
Good afternoon, guys. Welcome once again to yet another exciting episode of Social Trends on AtikuLive. I'm Uche and
your favorite host, Sarah.
So we have a new host joining us, and let me allow him to introduce himself.
Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Tonye Inyoribo. I'm a social media communicator, political analyst, and also a public relations personality.
Tonye, popularly known as
Tonye Bakanista,
yes,
on social media.
Wow.
So,
lovely to have you join us.
Yes, you all will know him probably. He's an avid political commentator on various topics. So, Sarah and Tonye, we have the Kano floods yet again. Yet again.
A very serious matter. Like, there's a video circulating on the internet. A flood happened in Quarry Market in Kano State, and then you can literally see citizens floating in this water. Like, they are literally walking. Like, everybody has to go about their daily activities. You can't, because of flood, say you won't go to work. Imagine calling in at work and be like, oh, I can't come to work today, there's a flood in my area.
Like,
who's taking that?
They won't believe. Like, when Jonah told them that whale swallowed him, nobody like, we don't believe this.
Man, like,
I think the government should actually do something about it.
Well, if I can chip in, is that the flood that happened is not the first. On the 29th of June rather, 230 houses. You see, the problem with the government of Kano State, in my own opinion, is that they are not proactive. On the 18th of July, NIMET forecasted about this heavy rainfall in Kano State and the other northwestern states, including Katsina, Kaduna, and thereabouts. But again, why is it that we have a system where there is an agency that forecasts, predicts issues like this? Now, instead of the government in charge to address this issue, so as to manage it, for us to avoid loss of lives, properties, and economy, we wait until something happens, then we start fire brigade approach. I think we just have to be proactive.
We need to be proactive because this is not the first time, this is not the second time. This dates as far back as 2020, and it's always the same period, August to September. From 2020, it happens 2020, happened 2021. Now this is 2022. And in 2020, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Ganduje, donated 100 million to the victims. So is it not better implemented to use this 100 million to sort the issue out, or you develop like an agency who are tasked with fulfilling the role of maintaining the drainage system?
It's just very sad. Flooding is not a natural disaster. It's something that we brought upon ourselves, and I feel it's the responsibility of the government of that state to, curb this kind of problems. Nigeria is a very blessed country. We don't have problems here, to be honest. With
flooding is Lagos, and now Kano being a dry state.
They should stop seeing themselves as a reactive agency, but proactive agency. Now, if the right policies is done, the right persons are put in place to manage this kind of thing, we will not be hearing of all this flooding, loss of lives, loss of properties. Now just imagine three people, 3 lives lost, according to the report of the State Emergency Management Agency, and houses destroyed, farmlands, road, and everything. It affects both the lives,
period where we have
both the lives,
agricultural
the economy,
problems,
the psychology, and almost everything about Kano State and Kano people. So I just think that we just have to, going forward, we just have to go back to the drawing board and then put policies in place to ensure that all this disaster is averted.
It's really serious because this issue of flooding is eating up the whole of Nigeria slowly. Even here, like in Abuja, we're hearing of a lot of flooding situations, especially in like places like Pape. These places have serious flooding situations, and even if not flood, let's leave flood aside from it, the roads are so bad. Whenever it rains, it is so bad. Like, you literally can't get anywhere on foot. You have to be in your car. Imagine those that don't have this kind of luxury. You don't have a car. You have to go out and find yourself a bike or something.
Remember, because last week we talked about the police vehicle being submerged in water in Ogun State. Now you have floods again in Kano State. And with the amount of money being received by the state government, there should be appropriate measures taken to prevent flooding. It's not after the floods have happened, you go and meet these individuals and be like, okay, have this, have that, like as palliative measures. You should be proactive, like Tony said, be proactive, stop it, nip it at the bud. That's the best way possible to tackle all these challenges. So we still have on that story, we have someone on social media saying that banks, being of the opinion that banks should quit selling recharge cards so that the business can be revived among local sellers.
But you know, the truth of the matter is, right from time, you know, if we are going back as far back as maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, selling card was actually a business. It was something that some of these youths do. Even some grown people, you see them on the road, they're selling card. You can just, as you're moving, you wind down, you're like, oh, do you have this card? I need so amount. But now, they food on their this particular
streets and create job. Can we ask NAS to legislate on it? That business is worth billions per day.
Okay, if I will come in, I've had this conversation with Woye about 2 years back, and my position is simple. We cannot say because we want to keep jobs, then we will ignore the development or recharge card purchasing. It's moving the paper recharge card from the point of production to the point of sales. So you see, but again, when you adopt technology, you take care of all these, save costs, and also grow the economy. But as for the banks, business, they want to take advantage of the situation in Nigeria. They are in business, but the government, through the CBN, should regulate them. Let them face the main banking, their banking job. Let them encourage small-scale businesses. Let them offer loans.
True.
Let them offer loans. Let them invest in real estate, invest in agriculture, invest in the youth. So I think, in a long way, they will make more. The youth, the citizens will make more, and the economy will grow.
That's what you're proposing is the bank should incentivize citizens to pursue other aspects of the economy. Because as it stands, you mentioned fintech. Still on fintech, fintechs do engage in banking.
Yes, but they are not
engaged in profit making. They do engage in profit making,
not at the expense of the economy.
But the technology keeps advancing over time, and there's nothing they can do at the end of the day. The truth of the matter is, people will lose jobs. But I still think as a bank or as an institution, you owe it back to the community around you to still provide platforms in which you can help them. Like he mentioned earlier, provide more loans to these people who you are basically rendering jobless. That's the least you can do, you understand? It's just the least.
Well, my own belief is that these banks should, as Tony said, they should find other ways. They should cut back. Maybe these are, like you said, an opinion. They should cut back on those recharge card activities and do give it back to the common man.
But like you said, they are profit oriented.
You see again,
it's not only recharge cards.
It's not recharge cards.
Flight tickets, and
no. You see, they will make. Now, let's look at it from this angle. If an individual is trained on the use of POS machine to sell recharge cards. Now, that individual doesn't have to go to the street to print any paper. That individual can equally sell recharge cards to customers without and still bank that money in the bank. So you see, is the one selling the recharge card, the bank gain, the individual lose, the economy, because that individual will be unemployed and he may be forced to go into crime.
But you guys are still not. There's something I figured out. I asked someone once who used to sell recharge card, and this person told me that per 1,000 naira that he sells is just 15 naira gain on it.
If banks withdraw, the scale of business for these operators increase tremendously.
True.
Because they are operating at the scale they can. But when you have demand, the demand is no longer there. For me as a person, to go and purchase card from my bank is way easier than stepping out to go and purchase maybe from nearby kiosk or nearby shop, from nearby woman who I've been purchasing from. So these people, when they don't notice this patronage, either their business goes redundant or they pursue other sources of livelihood.
It all just boils down to technological advancement.
You made mention of somebody making 15 naira per 5,000 naira. Now look at it again. It is because the the supplier of his recharge card factor the cost of printing, purchasing of paper, and logistics, transporting the recharge card down to where he is. So you see, that's why by the time the person factor all these costs, it will eat into his own profit. But again, if you encourage the same person, you train this person on the use of POS machine or any technology to sell the same recharge card. Now that person will not. The issue of cost of production
to be a win-win on both
sides. So you see,
Mm.
again, it's a win-win situation on both sides. Now the banks should encourage. I keep saying it. Banks should encourage technologies. Banks should encourage individuals and SMEs to enter into this business. They will get goes on. We'll still go back to the bank.
Definitely.
Because the money has to be
Now,
banked
you see,
somewhere.
the bank, there are a lot of areas that our banks need to step into without dragging retail business with SMEs and the small individuals.
They need to be on the
That's
large
just my
scale.
opinion.
Like they need to think on a large scale. What you said right now makes a lot of sense.
It's like a
Focus
competition.
on the business
Yes.
of banking.
Yes,
It's a
yes,
competition
yes.
where you have banks,
Provide-
they struggle with
Provide
ticket
credit
bookers.
facilities,
Yes.
provide loans, support.
In the long
business.
run, they are
So
still
in the long
making
run,
all the.
They are still making the
profit, like,
money.
It's coming all back to them. Anyway.
Banks sell flight tickets.
Yeah.
Banks sell recharge cards. They sell data. They sell
The only
subscription
thing
fees.
remaining
They
for
sell
our
light
bank
bills.
is anyone noticing that.
Well, that should be ascribed
It's
to a
been lagging.
massive exodus of our tech talents because obviously everybody knows the trend, the jackpot trend. So
Oh yeah.
why you blame that? Me also, I keep blaming.
no, they don't want to finance it because
Understand?
they know there's nothing you
Either
can do to them.
deliberately or not. But you see again, I interface the economy. You cannot grow an economy without the SMEs.
True.
Understand? But again, and to grow you cannot grow the economy without the banks playing active role.
So there has to be a synergy.
So there has to be a synergy.
There has to be synergy.
So again, for me, I will not blame people that are traveling out. People see, I told my friend, I said since the 80s, Nigerian professionals have been leaving the shores of the country in search of greener pasture. It will not end. It will continue and it will keep going on. But again, you cannot blame the exit of Nigerians for as being responsible for the lagging of our banks. You cannot.
True. I mean, if you stick
Well,
with that patches, you will go now.
I think this is a very avid topic, which we will still come back to. But we have the case of Bashir Ahmed being investigated by the Icpc for overdrawing funds when he was not a public officer.
You see, Bashir Ahmed, it's unfortunate, but not
Very
surprising.
unfortunate.
But not surprising.
How do you mean not surprising, Tony?
Yes, well, it's because most people in public office, they see themselves as being above the law.
Above the law.
So that's why I say it's not surprising. Now, Bashir Ahmed, who had the ambition of becoming a lawmaker, unfortunately,
Lost out.
understand, unfortunately, is being portrayed as a lawbreaker as a result of his alleged.
Now, that's a good play on words.
No.
Instead of a lawmaker, is a lawbreaker.
A lawmaker, you get that, guys. A
see,
lawmaker is now a
You see,
lawbreaker.
as a presidential aide, is expected to live above board
To espouse the
and be an example to
everybody.
others. Now, the law is very clear. Before you run for any elective office, as a political appointee, you must resign from your position. Bashir Ahmed complied with the aspect of the law by resigning, but he did not comply with the aspect of the law, which said that when you are not in the service of the government, you cannot withdraw salary.
You cannot not withdraw, really. Draw
You cannot draw salary
from the federal post.
from the federal post. Now, Bashir Ahmed, who claimed that he resigned from the employment of the government.
Because as at then, he was the special
As at then, before he was the personal assistant on new media to
President Muhammadu Buhari.
Now, on the day of his resignation, that should be the last day
He was
he
entitled.
is entitled to receive any payment from the federal government with respect, because he's not pensionable.
He's not pensionable.
So he's not entitled to anything outside the base salary, which was earning where he was in active service as at then. But if not for the publication of
People's Gazette.
we would not have known that Bashir Ahmed was still withdrawing his basic pay for that office for 3 months.
Not just the basic pay, because he
For
withdrew
3
for
months.
May, June, and July. And in addition to that, not just the basic
And other
pay.
emoluments.
The emoluments, the
Because
extra
allowances and
allowances.
His salary after tax is like 870,000 naira.
You see,
The amount of money he withdrew for those 3 months amounts to 3.12
it's over 3 million naira.
It's 3.12
So you
million.
see, so you see, this attitude is not just condemnable, but it's criminal.
It's criminal.
And we have a government that came to power on
On the back of,
anti-corruption.
not just came to power.
Understand?
This
Yeah,
that's something.
again, it was promoted rather than punished.
So does this add to the impunity?
Understand? Now you see, a panel was set up to investigate everything. Today, we've not heard of any prosecution,
At
not talk of
all.
conviction.
We only ever hear of when they catch the person, but we don't hear.
No.
any
No, and
other
when they
updates.
catch them, I think it's because, you know one thing about that, this ICPC investigation, it was because of the expose. If not, how can a newspaper, a print organization, find out this and our security find this out?
Good. Now, how can we trust the ICPC that if they find merit in the allegation?
The allegations.
Because we see the case of Lawa Babache. He's still a chieftain of the
Exactly.
of the party.
Till today,
We
as
see
we speak,
the issue of Ibrahim Magu. He was elevated to the enviable rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police.
a variable rank.
You understand? We see the case of what is it called? The former commander of IGP Intelligence Response Team, Abba Kyari. Now we are now seeing Bashir Ahmed again. See, let me just say this.
It's like a precedent.
Let me just say there's a precedent, and this precedent only points to one fact, that it's either the president is not in charge, or is in charge but lacks the political will to address this issue.
How can? But he came into power with this whole anti-corruption.
Let us fight corruption
There is difference
Yes.
between coming to power
and being in power.
and being in power. Nigeria elected the president,
A singular person.
but now we have the presidency. Who is the presidency?
And that's the purported cabal, because at this stage we have to ask ourselves, how did he even get away with not just 1, not 2 months, 3 months of being paid his salary and his allowances?
He claimed
he refunded the money, but there's no evidence.
There's no evidence he refunded the money.
There's not, and if there's no evidence, because you have to ask yourself, it is not just him alone being Bashir culpable in this act. Who was the one paying him?
Yeah, he's not the only one.
If you ask him, he's a high-profile individual.
Of
So
course.
someone of that profile, you cannot say that you don't know he was being paid. You get
When my father retired as a policeman,
immediately.
he stopped receiving salary. He stopped receiving salary. Now he started receiving his pension.
pension.
Now you see, now the case of Bashir is even interesting because he has been rewarded with the position of a senior special.
He was reappointed
assistant.
as special
not just
assistant
reappointed, elevated.
to digital communications.
Understand?
In
So,
charge of all digital communications.
Before now, he was the personal assistant
On
new media. But now he's in the rank of SSA, senior special assistant to the president. So is he being rewarded
And now
for what
he's
he
being
has
caught
done,
doing this.
or what? And the president, who is his principal, is silent over this.
Because we haven't received any statement from the presidency or President
You
Muhammad
see,
Buhari on this.
The issue of Bashir is not just it's an indictment on President Muhammad Buhari,
It is.
because Muhammad Buhari is his direct principal. Bashir is holding position at the pleasure of Muhammad Buhari. Now, whatever act done by Bashir or any of
Directly.
or any of the aides or any of the presidential aides directly reflect
Yes.
to what the president represents. But if the president wants to tell us that the attitude doesn't represent what it stands for, then he must take action.
There must be an
Yes,
action.
Silence,
immediately.
in this case, silence
and
is consent.
immediately for that matter, because it's taking too long already. It's like
You see-
it hasn't even gotten to him.
Tony, can you just let's try and draw a parallel from when this story was broken to when the ICPC now officially launches an investigation?
Allegedly, because you cannot confirm.
Yes.
Again, see, we have come to a stage whereby Nigerians, which I'm part of, don't trust the statements.
We don't trust the
of
system.
ICPC or EFCC.
We don't trust the system
all,
actually.
at all.
And the
Understand?
issue now is, when you see that you don't trust the system, do you put your power in that system? Do you say, okay, ICPC, they are going to do a good job? Do you think these people will actually bring Bashir?
During the era of President Obasanjo, something happened. In fact, something happened. 3 high-profile individuals were indicted.
You were indicted, I remember.
First was Fabian Osuji, the then Minister of Education. Second was the then Senate President, Adolfo Swabara. And also the now late Inspector General of Police, Tafa Balogun. You see, what President Obasanjo did was that immediately the indictment came that Fabian Osuji, who was Minister of Education then, very close to the President, allegedly bribed the Senate President, led by Senate President Adolfo Swabara, to give him soft landing in the education budget. The first Obasanjo did was to fire Fabian Osuji. That was the first thing, because the message he sent was that, look, I don't condone this. Leave my government and go and face the allegation.
Yes, once investigations are concluded, then we can come back and
Obasanjo also, again, the Senate, who majority belongs to the ruling party PDP then, understand, ensure that Adolfo Sobara was encouraged to resign. Obasanjo has to tell him to resign, so that not to rub this on the Senate institution. You see, now, the issue of Balogun, he was a very good cop. He fought crime and everything, but
he was very popular.
When the allegation of corruption came, Obasanjo called him and told him, look, you have to go. You see, that is the way to send signal, to send message.
Be very strong, like holding a very strong stance and maintaining your stance, not just posturing for the camera.
But when you put out a nonchalant attitude, so you send a message that, look, these people, they are doing what I condone. If you don't condone it, then act on it. If you don't act on it, then you are part of it.
Well, at this stage, we have to go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be discussing the prolonged ASUU strike. Okay. We'll be right back, guys.
You know, here most of the differences is either North-South or Muslim-Christian. These are the divisions. These divisions are deep. You see, even in the smallest family unit, you need unity to have stability, you know, peace and progress of that family. Now, translate that into a bigger and more complex like Nigeria. And therefore, unity is number one.
Atiku knows about diversity. His inner circle reflects the face of Nigeria.
And then when you see the crowd around him, the mixture is amazing. There's hardly any ethnic group that's not present around him.
And for you to be admired by the various segments of the citizens of this country, the secret that he has to touch.
The type of leader that Nigeria needs is somebody who will unite the people together. I believe strongly that Atiku Abubakar is that type of leader. So he has so many friends everywhere, among the Christians, among the Muslims, and also outside Nigeria.
People find it safe to rely on him.
You know,
I'll come back now, Sarah and Toye. It is time for us to address this pressing issue of this ASUU strike. It's been 6 months of prolonged strike, and on Monday they've come out to say now it's an indefinite strike. So what are your thoughts on that, Sarah?
It was not indefinite before. I mean, it's been so long. It seems like since I've been young, since like right from childhood, I've been hearing of ASUU strike. Like, what's going on really? It's just honestly sad. What are you seeing about this case now?
You see, the issue of ASUU strike again. Again, I will not blame ASUU strike.
What? Yes.
Now, the warning strike is to send message to people in authority, especially the federal government, Minister of Education and Minister of Labour, that look, we have our demands. We are staying off our duties in the universities. Come and talk to us. Now, the government ignore them, or probably do not take them serious. Again, after the time elapsed for the warning strike, they came again and they declared 6 months strike. You see, at that stage, it became a full-blown battle between the government and ASU. Now, there is this trade blame. ASU, government will say ASU is not sincere. ASU will say government is not sincere. I'm not interested in who is sincere, who is sincere. But I'm interested in solution, and I still blame the government. It's 6 weeks ago, exactly 6 weeks ago, the president issued directive to the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu.
We're not talking about the lecturers.
So you see, even the lecturers, how are they faring?
They've released music.
As a teacher, I don't think no worker will be happy staying at home. I don't think any worker will be happy staying at home. Everybody wants to be productive.
Everybody wants to be employed. And
so you see,
stage,
now they are at home doing not, and the economy is being affected. But we are talking of, but the government of the talking of politics.
Not just politics. We have the government allegedly spending so much money, because it's not even allegedly again, because the finance minister has come out and say, oh, we did purchase the vehicles for Niger Republic, that they do these things. When you have so much money to spend on foreign entities, is our own issue, is it not?
It's not pressing enough.
It's a pressing issue.
That is the value. Now, if the president is really sincere about the ASU strike, to be honest with you, it would have been resolved.
It would have been resolved.
Before now.
Because now, you know, all of us, there's something we are missing though. If this
session, like
a whole session is gone. This is a whole session is gone.
People in private universities are now going ahead of their peers.
This is bad.
And it's telling our public institutions.
You see, it's unfortunate that why I believe that this is happening is because our public officers, they're in the habit of they don't have their kids or their wards studying in Nigerian universities or in public universities. Because I would say that lecturers, for me, I would say that the lecturers should use this period of strike to actually reflect on ways to meet their demands without putting the lives of the students at risk, even though I don't blame them. You see, Nigeria have been striking, Nigerians rather, to press one demands or the other, and we keep striking. Yet no result. The people are saying that if you keep doing one thing, understand, without results, and you keep doing the same thing, of course you don't expect to have a different result. Our public officers are used to strike. They are used to strike. That it doesn't move them. Now you imagine that in an election season rather, strike is going on, and the ruling party is not bothered. I will tell you what happened during the electioneering in 2015. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the national leader of the APC, said something. He said, in the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, there will be no strike, there will be lots of students, there will be no strike, lots of students will, on graduation, they'll be giving grants and loans and everything to start their lives in society. But see, this is what is happening. Why can't we as citizens hold the government responsible for for all these
The
promises.
the
Guys,
campaign,
this is a question we'll take home
No, sir.
with us.
So,
because
it's
they
not-
made campaign promises, they should live up to
Honestly,
They
it.
should live up to
Honestly,
it.
yes.
Now, if you don't live up to it, and you are not saying that, well, there's nothing I can do, the lecturers, they are so greedy, they just want to punish the student and everything. But what are you doing? You don't beat a child and expect him not to cry.
Well, as Toyin said, you do not beat the child and expect the child not to cry, because you made campaign promises, do deliver on them. That's just all we have to see. That's just about what we